Yo, what's going on? Drew from Soccer Kinesiology. Here, I'm going to be sharing exactly what I'm thinking as I prepare to get Nikola Stakic's pace to that next level. It's all about demands versus capacities. This is what I mean. Demands are, for soccer players to be successful, what do they need to have? Capacities are, given a specific soccer player, what do they currently have? So right from the jump, the first thing that we're going to do is compare the demands of soccer versus the current capacities of Nikola Stakic. The three that we're going to consider today are, number one, soccer players need high acceleration, meaning that they need to be able to get up to speed as quickly as possible. Number two, soccer players need high top speeds. Number three, soccer players need to be able to sustain high speeds. On to Stakic's capacities. To many people's surprise, which I'll get to, he has high top speeds. Stakic is able to sustain high speeds. However, he takes an eternity to get up to his top speed. This is why people might be surprised when they hear that Stakic has high top speeds, because he never gets to use it in a game. He never has the time and space to get up to his top speed. I know that he has high top speeds because after his sprint analysis and I counted his frames, he's comparable to a lot of the faster athletes that I've worked with. I know Stakic is able to sustain high speeds because after those grueling games where he covers a lot of ground, he's not fatigued. He's ready to go again. Back-to-back games aren't a problem for him. So the priority is obviously going to be his acceleration. That's what we're going to work on in this program. Come check it out. All right, so we're in the warm-up now. Once again, we're prioritizing acceleration. So in this program, we're not touching top speed and we're also not touching sustaining speed. So everything that we're going to do is about acceleration, even from the warm-up. So the first thing that we're going to do is prioritize pulling our toes towards our shins like this. This is because we don't want to be leaning forward at the hips. We don't want to be leaning forward at the back or at the neck. We want to get that forward lean from ankle flexion, like that. Along with a bunch of other exercises, we're going to make sure we do our toe up marches. All right, so now we're working on our toe up skips. Note that there's a bunch of other exercises that we're doing in the warm-up, but I'm not showing you guys in this video because what we're prioritizing is pulling that toe towards our shins. So the toe up marches and the toe up skips. Now that our warm-up's done, on to the first exercise. As I analyze Stakic's sprint, it almost seems like he's scared on a subconscious level of falling over from leaning forward too much. So the first exercise that we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce him to that forward lean. So we're gonna get posted up on a wall like this, leaning forward at the ankles, not at the hips, not at the back, leaning forward from that ankle flexion. And once we're comfortable with this position, we're going to be driving our knees so that we can see our toes over our knees like this. We're stabbing our leg back down onto the ground and we're driving the next leg up. This is a comparable movement to actually driving off in a real sprint. However, it's much more simple and a lot less scary. It's not like you're gonna fall over from leaning forward too much as you would on an actual track, right? So we're starting out of context, less game realistic, more simple. It's not like you're gonna be leaning up against a post in a real game. And we're gonna work our way up to more game realistic contexts that are more similar to actually sprinting. On to exercise number two. After we've done that previous exercise where we're leaning up against a post and getting comfortable with that forward lean, knowing what it feels like, knowing what it looks like to be in that forward lean, right? Now we're gonna practice controlling that forward lean, right? So it's gonna look like this. We're gonna start with our falling starts. With our falling starts, we have our momentum forcing our body down while pushing back on our legs will force our body back up. So we have two forces acting against each other. A lot of athletes find it easier to balance out that forward lean when they have those two forces acting against each other. That's why it's our first moving exercise. We're doing this earlier on in our program because it's a little bit easier to control. On to exercise number 2, we're taking out that downward force. We're taking out that momentum. We're working on our kneeling starts. Check this out. All right, at this point, hopefully Stakic has demonstrated to me that he can control that forward angle with momentum or without momentum at a dead stop. So the next progression is going to be transitioning out of more game realistic movements and into a controlled forward angle so that he can accelerate out. Come check this out. All right, that exercise that you guys just seen is the second last exercise that we have planned for day 1. However, it's the most difficult. We're controlling that forward lean angle with momentum, without momentum, transitioning out of different movements, right? So for the remainder of the time, we have one last exercise that we're gonna do. We're gonna be working with the power sled. However, I'm gonna be loading the power sled with a weight that is much more heavy than what's recommended for power adaptations, right? We're not actually trying to work on increasing our power output today, we're just working on mechanics. So with that power sled pulling him back with a lot of force, he's gonna be getting a lot of repetitions in that forward lean driving angle. That's how we're gonna end the session. All right, that's it for the program in regards to exercises. However, in the medical world, when doctors don't have months or years at a time to work with their clients and make physiological adaptations, what they prioritize is education, making sure that their clients understand how to do these exercises on their own properly without the supervision of the doctor. So once the clients leave the clinic, can they continue to improve without the doctor? Same thing here. When I'm working with Stakic, at first I'm providing him a lot of feedback, but as we go, I'm reducing the amount of feedback I give him. And on top of that, I'm asking him questions of how he performed on that last set, on that last rep, right? This way he can become his own coach and he can continue to work on these things even when I'm not there. This was Stakic Sprint Prescription. Thanks.